if you guys knew what we talked about before the show starts. Right, Matt?
Go jump off a bridge.
It's always fun to heckle
Go
Matt.
jump off a bridge.
The Sportz Nuts are back.
You are now listening to the Sportz Nuts.
See, we always can joke around like that kind of thing. But man, what is going on, everybody? My beautiful people, you are back with the greatest sports talk show ever. It is the Sportz Nuts, a part of the newest network form ever. And we've definitely, Matt, got to do a special shout out, am I right, about this logo that Matt officially created. I'm going to pop it up here, you guys, and you can kind of see it in the background. But if you've missed out, this is what it looks like. Matt has officially made us the SN Network, the Sportz Nuts Network. We are so glad to see you all again. I still can't believe how much we've grown, y'all, and the fact that the amount of episodes. So I did the math. Yes, this is episode official 241. Matt, did you know we're almost at 300? Like we're like 10 away from 300.
I mean, we're not almost there. We're like 60 episodes away.
No, we're 10. Officially 10. We've done with Shane's with Saturday things that he did, and with the JD's tidbits thing, everything. It was and like all of the stuff that we do in general. It's like 290.
Well, crazy? I mean, we can say all that, but officially, I'd rather stick to where we're officially at. Even though we're close. Hey, look, man, 240 is nothing to sneeze at, man. 240 is nothing to sneeze at. So, I mean, my apologies, 241. Well, we technically can't count this episode until it's in the books, man. So 240 isn't nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, man. Hey, real quick, let's give a special shout out to 95.5 KFCE, TigerNation.live, and the other 9 radio stations we air on. Thank you guys so much. Also, we air now officially in 55 countries worldwide. That really does mean a lot to us that you guys entrust us for these 90 minutes. But, man, our guy Ben will be here momentarily. But, Matt, I hope you had a good weekend. Obviously, you had to see some refreshingly good sports. But how was your weekend?
Oh, man, everything's good so far, man. I'm just right now just trying to, as you guys know, free agency opened up about an hour and a half ago in the NBA. So just kind of trying to keep a close look on that, man, see what's going on in that waiver wire. Waiting to see, where LeBron is going to sign, see what's going to happen with that, man. We all know what it is, man. We know what's
we're not going to have an hour interview.
Hey, no, not this time. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the first ones that,
You know where he's going. You don't know where he's going. You know where he's going.
Hey, man. Where's he going, Matt? Ain't nothing wrong with the chef and the king in the kitchen together, man. So.
But then you have street clothes right beside you.
Hey, man, that's if that happens, man. But as long as they got a monster that's green as well, then hey.
And by the way, I got to show this picture. This is Matt's favorite picture, by the way. And in case you don't get the reference for the show, it was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was the final episode where Will Smith is looking around like, man, this is it. But look, Matt, it's your favorite player just standing there. Yes, It is Bronny James.
It's time for the prince to become a king.
Oh, God, here we go. We're doing that stupid stuff. But, Shane, man, I hope you had a fantastic weekend, dude. I know you are kind of in between traveling and stuff, but how was your week, man? How was your weekend, actually?
Weekend was good. Actually not traveling. I didn't travel this past weekend or this weekend coming up. The boys and everybody's coming up. We plan on having a nice day of it out at Conisty Falls and stuff like that for the 4th celebration. But this past weekend was nice and relaxed. Got to cook some good food, on the smoker as I always do.
Some of the best
got to
food you'll ever
relax.
have, by the way. It's Shane's.
And then we went to the pool for about 4 hours yesterday afternoon and enjoyed that. Water's still cold up here.
Not down here.
it's jump in for about 5-10 minutes, get out and let the sun dry you off and warm up a little bit still. So, man, it's definitely warming up around here and just in time to kind of kick off the celebrations of 4th weekend and all that. So, man, I can tell you, I'm excited for the weekend coming up, but just as excited to be here with you guys and have this wonderful show that we got lined up for everyone tonight.
Yes, this is going to be a fun episode. Tonight, you guys, we actually have a really good one lined up for you. Who was the worst professional hockey team ever? And no, it is not just limited to the NHL, the AHL, or the ECHL. You're actually going to be surprised when I tell you their record. Matt knows it, just so you know. Matt is the only one that knows this record other than me. And you guys it's going to knock your socks off. Who is the tallest hockey player ever drafted to the NHL? And which team took said player? It actually just happened this draft. What? We'll talk about that. A certain former NFL running back has just made the absolute worst announcement that he has ALS. Who is that running back? We'll talk about that. More gambling fallout for NBA players. Yes. And this time, Matt, I'm kind of a little bit of a sticker shock that there's so many charges against him. So we'll discuss that one. Are we seeing the end of metal bats in all levels of baseball? Rumor mill says yes. We'll talk about that one. There's a whole lot more to talk about, plus sports stories and honorable mentions. We have you guys, the greatest fans ever. All right, so let's get into it now. This one is an interesting topic, and we are kind of in that dead zone period right now. Well, I still get sports stories sent to me, but who do you guys think was the worst professional hockey team of all time? It's not from the NHL, it's not from the AHL or the ECHL even. Shane, I know you're my researcher, but can you maybe give me a guess as to who you think is the worst professional hockey team ever in the history of hockey?
Well, I think I saw the record.
What's the record?
What was it? 349 and something?
Nope. It's even worse.
Okay. I know I thought I saw something on that record, but of course I didn't know the team because we're not talking about NHL team or ECHL team or AHL team even. So of course I didn't know, but I saw one, I think that was like 349, but it wasn't even one of those three professional leagues that I consider, the professional leagues of hockey.
Well, Matt, I know you know the answer, but before we reveal the answer, can you maybe give us a guess as possibly what is the worst record ever in existence? Do you know that answer, Matt?
Ooh, that's a good one, man. Maybe I hate this. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say a team won 0 games during the season. I don't.
You're damn close. Excuse my language. You're really close on that one. All right, y'all ready? It is. Let me turn off the banner here. It is the Battle Creek Rumble Bees. Yes, this is an actual team. Here is the story about it. They fired their head coach after an 0-9 start. Their record to finish was 1-45-0 and 2. That to me tells you this team stunk. They started 0-23-1. the team was folded after 1 year. But could you guys imagine, just for a second, you're on a team that absolutely is stinking up the joint, and you only win one game? Like, Matt, what does that say to you? You're only going to win one game your entire professional hockey career. That's pretty disturbing, right?
Oh man, that's very demoralizing, man. I mean, if you know ahead of time, man, that's one of those things that kind of kill your passion for playing the sport. So, I mean, we all play to win, but if you lose like that, I don't know if any amount of money can buy that. We can ask those 0-win Detroit Lions, man, that year.
0 16, 17, 18, 25, whatever the record was. Shane, what? You've sure what Matt said. How demoralizing would that be, though, to play for a team that only wins one game? One.
Man, I don't know. My competitive nature would have me crawling up the walls for sure with that team. So that's one thing. I don't know if I could stand it, but I mean that's it happens. And as you mentioned, me as a researcher, I started researching, kind of some of the teams and all that in history have had that kind of issue. And, I'll go ahead and mention a couple of them, and these are all at the NHL level. So, I mean, you think about the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, God.
I
know you're going on that one.
in the 92-93 season, they lost the NHL record 71 games. But this was only their second year in the league. Then you go look at another team from this 92-93 season in the Ottawa Senators. They're sitting at second place with 70 games that they lost. So I mean they lost 38 straight on the road.
Good grief!
In their inaugural season. So as you mentioned, that was that was a new team that year, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at that, and then probably that holds the NHL record in overall winning percentage is the 74-75 Washington Capitals.
Sorry, Cole, we had to take the stab on that one. Cole is a guest.
Their inaugural season as the Capitals, they were just horrible. They had a 131 winning percentage.
Woo.
Yes, and still had a goal against average was 5.58 per game. And then they allowed still NHL record to this day, 446 goals against. So one common thing that I could say that all of these teams that we're talking about, no matter the level, is that these are some of their first seasons in these leagues. So to say they're growing pains is an understatement to say the least.
Yep, absolutely. This was with the FPHL, the Federate. It's a Federate. Remember, we had the team called from Biloxi, the Biloxi Breakers. They're part of that league. But I mean, when I saw this pop up, it was actually a story that popped up, and it said, "Who do you think was the worst the worst professional hockey team of all time?" And I'm like, wait a second. The only one that comes to mind right away is 74-75 Washington Caps. They won 8 games, by the way, folks. 8 games in their season, but it's not the worst. I mean, this is a stupid, nasty record to have to be forever immortalized with. Is the fact that you only won one professional hockey game your entire career. Ouch. That hurts to think about that for a second. Think about the fans. And this is based up in the North. And people in the North, you guys know, hockey is like the first thing you come about when you live up in the North is you want to do hockey, then basketball, then football. It's kind of in those orders. And to go with one win and start the season 0-23-1, and then of course COVID came about and basically demoralized the entire league of the FPHL, and they've since rebuilt themselves back up. The league has, but there are teams that are never going to come back, and this is one of them. So I figured you guys would kind of get a little bit of a sticker shock seeing that one. Hank says you either have to have a high record or a low record for people to care. A mid-tier, mediocre record never gets recognized. That's very true. Still, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel though to know the fact that I was a part of a team that won one game in my entire career. All right, let's go to the next topic. So, who do you guys think was the tallest player ever drafted? I don't want you guys to tell me that person's name, okay? Because I can guarantee you a lot of us don't know how to say their last names. But Matt, what do you think is the tallest player, like size-wise, to ever have been drafted into hockey?
You would think height would be more of in hockey, height would be more of a kind of a weakness, I guess. Depending on your position, because of you got to bend down and get to the puck. So I don't know.
You can see your knees then.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't think height would be a great thing, but I don't know. Maybe somebody looks like 6'8", 6'7".
You're close.
6'ish. Yeah, I'll say right now height.
What about you, Shane? What do you think is the tallest height ever drafted in the NHL?
Well, I watched the NHL draft.
Don't cheat. Don't tell everybody yet.
I know the answer, but prior to this year, Matt is extremely close because I can remember what's his name, Chara, the defensive man from the New York Rangers. I believe
Victor Hedman's also one of that too.
Yeah,
Victor Heddy is 6'7".
Yeah, well, I believe the record before this year, there were 3 that were drafted at 6'9". That actually played in the NHL. So, that was the record previous to this year. But, they kind of smashed that this year by a couple 4 inches.
Absolutely. This is the tallest player ever drafted in the NHL. San Jose Sharks drafted a 7'1" wingman, Alex Karmanov. I know I just butchered that one. I really did, and I apologize for that. But this is
Karmanov.
Something I could never consider playing. First off, you're wearing the skates, and if you guys don't know this, you're pretty daggone tall with the skates. It's like 5 inches additional. So, you're 7'1" without skates, and you're adding the skates. You're basically taller than Victor Wembanyama in hockey. Like, think about that for a second, Matt. You're going against a 7'1" wingman in hockey, and the dude is not skinny by any stretch of the imagination. What would be your reaction? You have this guy, he is barreling at you. What would you do? Just say, go ahead and have the goal, I don't care? Or would you try to stand up to a 7'1" hockeyman?
I mean, I would simply just do this.
I'd be like, go ahead, here's the goal. Here, I'll let you shoot it.
What can you do? What can you do in that instance? That's crazy. That's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't know.
What would be your first reactions though, Matt, when you come onto the ice? You're playing the San Jose Sharks. This dude has just gotten called up from the ECHL, AHL, whichever one it is, and he is starting right away. And you look at across there, and you see his basically a 7'6" hockey player. Like, what is your instant reactions when you see someone that big? I mean, that's kind of like that's like envisioning Shaq playing hockey. That's how big it is.
It's like Jesus, man. I mean, it's like not to use the good Lord's name in vain, but it's like, my gosh. I mean, what can you do?
Shock, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what can you do, man? It's like I remember it's like my first time playing against a 7-footer in basketball. Like, oh my gosh!
I was sticker shocked too the first time I played against a 7-footer. I was like, oh my god, he's huge. What about you, Shane? You've laced up and you're going on the ice. You play for the Carolina Hurricanes and you're playing the San Jose Sharks, and you personally have to line up against this basic 7'6" behemoth that's standing right across from you. What is going to be your reaction? Now, look, Shane is not the tallest person. I can promise you that. But he is, he's small, but yet he's mighty. But what would be your reactions, though?
I'm average height according to the statistics across America. Okay.
He said you were small. He said you were small.
Yeah.
He is compared to us, though, man.
Yeah, y'all are rather taller individuals.
He calls us freaking nature giants.
No, I'm used to hanging out with taller people, but I still am average height. Don't call me small, okay? But
You're smaller than me.
one thing I would think, the quickness, especially that you have to kind of go with on the ice, you would definitely think that you could skate around a taller person like that. But Alexander, he's not small by any means.
No.
I
Think about the
mean,
one-timers though too, Shane. I mean, Victor Hedman used to have the record for the hardest slap shot. Could
yeah,
you imagine
well,
what this guy's slap shot could be like?
oh yeah, well, and see, that's basically what San Jose did with this pick. They drafted off of potential that this kid has, because he's only played in 13 major junior level game. I mean, 35 junior level games. Yeah, he does have, I think, about 7 goals. I think about 50 points total overall between the two places that he was at. But he's a defensive wingman with that size. Like I said, he's not a small guy, so he's not slender. I mean, he's 200. He's 274 pounds
That's a big boy.
at 7'1". So it's not like he has to add a lot of mass to his frame like we see like we see in the NBA with these taller guys, where they have to add mass onto their frame once they get there to be able to compete. So the everyday in and out and toughness that the NHL is made out of. He's got the potential to be there. But be it that his experience and productivity was limited in those 35 games, it's still 7'1", 274 defender. I mean, just imagine he lays out for a shot in the block. I mean, that's almost a whole circle.
I know, right?
Face-off circle that he's taking up.
Whoa.
So well, I mean, you add the stick out there, I guarantee you he could lay across a whole face-off circle.
Oh God. Yeah.
So that's a lot of ground that you're taking up and preventing the puck going. So definitely going to be watching Alexander and his journey making it way up. And kind of a fun fact that I did learn about this too. He is from Moldova, and he is the first born player from that country to be selected in the NHL draft.
That's crazy. That's
So
pretty cool. That's a cool little tidbit
fact
there.
I learned. Yeah, looking up a couple little interesting things about him tonight. So
I don't know I don't know how I'd react. I'm a diehard hockey guy, but this, Shane, you just mentioned it. San Jose Sharks, they're not something to really write home to mom about. I mean, I think it's been I would say it's got to be over 20 years since they won the Stanley Cup, right? Shane, do you remember the last time they won the Stanley Cup? I'm drawing a blank.
I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, because they've only been around since the early 90s. So
let us know. I'm actually looking it up right now as we're talking. If you guys know the answer, so they started in 1991. Yes, that is correct. They have never won the Stanley Cup, actually. Okay. They've won the President's Trophy, and that was in 2008, 2009. They've won their most quote recent division championship was actually in 2010, 2011. So it's been a long time, but they've never won the Stanley Cup. I believe they've been to the Stanley Cup. If I'm not mistaken, they've gone a couple of times. But that is kind of a lonely team per se. My sister is actually taking my nephew Jackson to see his first NHL hockey game, and I told Jessica he's gonna have a blast. It's once he's there in person, it's like you're hooked instantly. Hockey is a cult following, meaning if you are religious about watching it, you're going to be hooked on it no matter what. And it's a lot more engaging. It's a lot more enjoyable. It's fun. It's fast. It's everything. But I just could not. I couldn't imagine seeing this 7'1". Well, technically he'd be 7'6" with his skates on. This behemoth. I feel bad for who has to line up against him. I don't know, Matt. You hit the nail on the head. But yeah, that is the tallest player that I have ever gotten the chance to watch. So let's go to our next topic, and this one kind of broke my heart a little bit to see. And I don't know if you guys saw the interview, but Chris Johnson has come out and announced. He was one of the famous Tennessee Titan running backs of all time. And Matt will tell you, CJ can go from 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. This dude was insane. Well, he was diagnosed at the age of 39 with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And he actually now has to speak through a device that reads what his eyes are spelling out. And the interview that he was on GMA about, that really hit a chord, because ALS is one of the nastiest diseases ever. There is no cure. There is treatments, yes, but they're not very good. The last NFL player that was diagnosed with ALS was Chris Leaston, I believe is how you say his name. He played for the New Orleans Saints, and Matt knows this. He was one of the most infamous players ever in New Orleans Saints history, because it was the first home game ever back in New Orleans after Katrina hit, and he blocked Michael Canaan's punt. Steve Leeson, that's what it is. So yes, but what does this mean to not only to the future game, Matt, but to his legacy, knowing that he has the absolute worst degenerative disease known to man?
Well, first off, you got to give your hats off to Mr. CJ2K. One of the few guys in the league that has ever rushed for 2,000 yards. Speed, demon up the field. I think it was the 28th pick in the draft, or 20-something pick in the draft, man, to the Titans. I think that was the same. He came out the same year Adrian Peterson came out, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, man, you got to give it to CJ2K. A heck of a career, man. It's very unfortunate that him and his family are going through this right now. I know he has a son that plays college ball. His son should be in the league soon, but yeah, it's a terrible disease, man. Terrible disease. I was reading up on it. It's like Brandon, like you said, there's no cure for it. There's nothing anybody can really do. They just help you. They try to make life a little bit more bearable for you, but it's, what does it say, 100% fatality rate, man. And
it gets you pretty quick too, from what they said.
And it's one of those diseases where, they said about 3 years after diagnosis, usually you're gone. Yeah. But it's just one of those things, man. One of those diseases that just pop up. I mean, it just pops up. It's like a Russian roulette type of thing. In some cases, it might be hereditary, but 9 times out of 10, man, it's just a random case, man, and they don't know what causes it. So, man, shouts out to his family, man. Hopefully, he can enjoy this time with his family.
What about you, Shane? Like, this disease is unimaginable, and I hate that there is no cure yet. Do I think there'll be a cure in our lifetime? I hope there will be. But what does this say to the future players who run the risk of, there is this term called CTE, and which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is too many blows to the head. People say that can trigger versions of dementia, Alzheimer's, ALS, those kind of things. What does that mean to you, though, with this great legacy that he had, now that it's basically his time is on borrowed time now?
Yeah, well, it's just terrible news to hear. To start with, especially for a guy like Chris. I mean, he wasn't, he was one of those ones that he was flashy in a sense, but let his talking was basically on the field a lot of times. And, prior to the past couple of years, still held the combine record for 40-yard time officially. which always goes in quotations when you talk to other people about their combine times and everything else. But first off, our thoughts and prayers go out to Chris and his family as they, deal with this tough journey that he's on. As you mentioned, the speech generating machine that he uses now with his eyes. Whenever he was diagnosed very early, they went ahead and recorded his voice, so that way the voice generator actually sounds like him and kind of emulates his patterns and everything. So I thought that was extremely neat that they were able to do that and all that. But as Matt said as well, 9 times out of 10, it's sporadic. ALS, and that's how they, kind of when it first comes on and they diagnose, it's just one of those things that can't be explained right now, and that's one of the things that hampers everybody with the research and everything that's got to be done and put in forth into this. One of the quotes that I heard from the interview from Chris was, you're kind of just in shock, and you kind of don't really ever get over that shock. But you do realize that you have 2 choices, and that's to give up or fight. And he said, "I choose to fight." So it's definitely great to see. As he also said, this disease has touched my body, but it hasn't changed who I am. It's definitely great to see the spirits that he's in and everything else for that, but definitely going to be a real tough journey, and our thoughts and prayers and love can't be poured out enough for him and his family at this time.
Yeah, it's demoralizing for a lot of people, and Steve Gleason even said before everything has gone down with him, he said that he's not going to let it get the best of him, and I think that's why Steve Gleason has such a longevity with the ALS. I don't remind me, Shane, how long did Lou Gehrig actually live after being diagnosed with ALS? I can't not remember for the likes of me.
I want to say it was anywhere from like 5 or 6 years, I want to say, but I'm not 100%. I don't really know much. That's actually one of the next books I was fixing to read. I'm sitting out by the pool, it's a good time to catch up on my reading after I get finished with this Joe Namath book that I'm on right now.
So I'm actually reading it. Steve Gleason is actually still alive. And he is 49 years old. He was born March 19th, 1977. So he still is alive. He has raised millions for assistive technology and care for somebody who has ALS. And the journey that unfortunately these individuals are going to have to go through, you wish that on absolutely zero of your enemies.
2 years.
Ooh.
2 years, Lou Gehrig. Exactly.
That's sad.
2 years.
And, there's a lot of advancements in technology now compared to when Lou Gehrig was alive. But even when he gave his memorable speech that today I seen myself as the luckiest man on the face of the earth, you even see he was bent over and he could barely talk and hold himself up. So it's so debilitating. And it breaks your heart. Chris Johnson is young. I mean, he's right around my age. I'm 42. Matt's 40. Yes, I thought your age other, Matt. And it can be, to the point where you want to give up on life. But I'm good on for Chris for not wanting to give up and fighting the fight as long as he possibly can. Our thoughts definitely go out to him, to his wife, his kids, his whole family. From him all the way down to his uncles and aunts and grandparents, everything. It's going to be a challenge. But as people have said, though, if anybody can delay the inevitability, it would be him, because he cannot run it. And that Chris Johnson, and Matt just said, CJ2K was one of the fastest players you will ever see. and the fact that he's having to go through this. So our thoughts and prayers absolutely go out to him, to his family. Just a hard diagnosis that one has to go through, and so I hope that he finds solace. So let's go to our next topic. I was going to talk about the gambling, but we're talking about this first one. Are metal bats going away in college baseball? Actually, yes. Rumor has it, according to ESPN and Fox Sports, as well as other like Yahoo Sports as well, has even said that there is a movement that is going on that we should see within the next 2 to 3 years, the end of metal bats. Remember, metal bats came. Shane, remind me. I didn't write this down. When was metal bats introduced again to to baseball in college? It was what, the 80s?
Yeah, I want to say mid 80s.
So what they're going to do is they're going to start the transition in 2027. From what Yahoo Sports says, they're going to start the transition from 2027. Some schools will have 1 or 2 players at a time with wooden bats, but their goal is by the year 2032 to have all metal bats completely removed from the game, which I'm wholeheartly, I agree. Well, and I even asked Cassie's, because Cassie's the softball girl. I asked her, why do college athletes have to play with metal bats, but almost every other level you're playing with almost, I didn't say almost every other level you're playing with wooden bats. It's a weird thing. Shane, what does this mean to you, knowing that we're on the cusp, on the precedence of not seeing metal bats anymore in baseball?
Well, I think that we're still a little ways out. The biggest thing about metal bats compared to the wooden bats is the size of the barrel. And so if you just make a switch and all without trying to, which a lot of the metal bat companies have gotten strenuously tight on their tolerances and regulations for their BB core bats that are made to kind of emulate the wooden bat effect, where it doesn't kind of trampoline off of the barrel. But the size of that barrel means a lot, because if you take a barrel size down a quarter of an inch, that where you used to hit a double in the gap, now you're hitting a lazy pop up the second. It's all going to be about contact at that point. But I think with the composites and the metal bats, with the BB core regulations, I think those might get stricter before they make the initial jump to the wooden bats. I could see definitely, we see a lot of college players now in collegiate leagues during the summer. Most all of those are wood bat leagues. A lot of guys that I played ball with in high school, that they would take BP with wood bats because it teaches you to find that barrel. I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Why? But why did they bring the metal bats though, Shane? Why do you think they brought metal bats?
Just advancement in technology. I mean, it was not allowed by the MLB, but colleges could do it. So, it's just like when they figured out the forward pass before anybody else. I mean, it was an advantage at the time to know it and have it and to use it. So that was kind of how they came about. And I mean, when we look into colleges now at this level with NIL and sponsorship deals and everything else like that, man, it's going to be tough to get these metal bats out of college ball because of the sponsorship money and everything that they bring in per year. They're in college baseball. So that's another hurdle that they're going to have to jump through eventually try to get wood bats into college baseball.
Matt, I didn't know this, And up until actually a couple of years ago, me and Cassie had this absolute crazy debate. Are the more expensive bats better? And she said, absolutely they are. And I'm like, no, they're not. They can't be any better than a regular. And then she showed me this video of this college girl softball player who hit a ball with a $50 bat. And you know, the cheaper the bat, the louder it sounds. So the $50 bat didn't get a home run. Then there was a $100 bat, it got a home run after 4 attempts. So she switches to this $500 composite bat. And Cassie's literally going to sit there and say, yeah, that's the difference. And the girl, she hits 4 out of the 4 attempts for all home runs. Bats are expensive. And I know this. I have a daughter who plays softball. She has 5. And they're not cheap. They're not cheap by any stretch. But Matt, what would it mean to you not hearing that ever popular bing, bing, and now you're hearing the whack, whack sound? What is that going to mean to you when it does go away?
Well, I mean, that thwack sound is what you grew up on listening to, man.
Yeah.
So it's what you. I mean, but we had the bings too. You know, we had the metal bats in the playground too, man. But you know, we didn't really use the metal bats too much. So it was mainly just the wooden bats that we pretty much used. It's just something we're used to, man. So, me personally, I wouldn't really care as long as the product was still the same, and as long as we still got.
Some people say that it could. What you just said there. Some people say it could either hinder or it could help the game of college baseball. What do you think, though, Matt?
You know, I think it could. I think it would. I don't know, man. I don't think it would make that much of a difference. But I if I had to pick, I can see how it can help. I can see how it'll have everybody just on the same page, have everybody on the same playing field, even playing field.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, to say the least. It will be interesting, but yes, there are. It looks like they're going to be removing metal bats, and Shane just alluded to it as well, that you're going to have to deal with. Everybody knows the ever mighty dollar is going to make that difference as to how fast they transition away. And should companies like East End or the Ghost brand or whatever, are they going to somehow team up with the Louisville Bats organization, and they're going to put out their own version of wooden bats? I mean, there's also those torpedo bats. So that's going to be another interesting debate there too, Shane. Could you imagine them having wooden torpedo bats in college?
I don't know. I see it, you know, further away than what you're kind of talking about, what they may seem. But you know, the whole reason why they went to the BB Core standards was to emulate a wooden bat, but still have the offense and the product on the field for an offensive game that the fans love. That's why the MLB switches baseballs up every so many years to produce offense. You know, you might have a change, but you know, if you don't get the product on the field that you want, you're going to see them switch back real quick. But you know, it's all about the standards. You know, whatever the NCAA rule book allows is what they'll go with. That may help them win.
Yeah, I'm eager to see, like as you mentioned, Shane, I'm eager to see the transition. How are leagues going? How are teams going to accept having this possible transition going from metal to wood? I mean, not everybody. I mean, it takes a while for people to figure out how to hit on a metal bat. So, I mean, it could take you a while to figure out how to hit on a wooden bat. I don't know. I didn't play baseball. Shane did, though. Shane can tell you that there is definitely a form of discrepancy differences between that. So really interesting to see. We'll let you guys know more about it as it comes closer to. All right, so let's go to this one. Next topic. Are we serious again, Matt? What is going on with NBA players as of late in gambling? You make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, and you gamble away your entire career just for what? because it's gambling. Well, Malik Beasley has been indicted on federal gambling charges. Remember the last time we mentioned this, Matt, and you even mentioned this last episode, was Chauncey Billups. And if you guys do not remember the whole situation with Chauncey Billups, they had x-ray glasses. Matt, what were some of the other things that Chauncey Billups used for his gambling? It was x-ray glasses and what else?
I think like the cameras under the table or something like that. So he had a whole bunch of crazy gadgets, man, to help him cheat.
Cameras under the tables to see what the cards were face down, all kind of stuff.
But why do you both think this is becoming obviously we know gambling's been around since the dawn of money, basically, but why do you think now, and since Matt hears some noise in the background, Shane, we'll go with you first. Why do you think NBA players, what is so sexy about the fact that, oh my God, I'm making, $700,000 a game, but I'm going to go bet, $25,000 to win $30,000. Like what is so sexually appealing at the fact that they're willing to throw away their entire lives, their careers? I mean, we even mentioned this too with the Brandon Sorsby situation, how he gambled. Pete Rose. I mean, what is going on? This is a disturbing trend going on as of late with all these players gambling, and they're getting caught. What do you think is the driving force behind that, Shane?
The driving force is almighty dollar but behind it. I mean, the basketball and NBA and even the lower levels of basketball for many years have had a problem and an issue with gambling in their game. I mean, you saw point shaving stuff going on in college in the Big East back in the 80s and the early 90s. The NBA referees and their gambling and their calls and stuff like that. And now, it's kind of the availability now to everyone since so many states have legalized sports gambling and sports betting. It makes it so much easier to do it now. Back in the old days, you'd have to call into a bookie and they'd have to know you to get the credit line so you could even make a bet, or know somebody that knew the bookie so you could make a bet. So, the availability that everybody has now, I'm guilty of it. I know Matt's guilty of it. But at the tip of our
just called you up, Matt.
In the phone, just if there's certain odds that are on the game and you got a spare $5 laying around that you can put on it, hey, you can go on there and put $5 down.
But you're an average Joe compared to these NBA players, though.
But still, they're still human, just like I am.
Yeah.
If they lived in North Carolina, they could do the same thing. We all, some people are held to higher standards than others because of their prominence and everything else. But at the end of the day, we still all live in the same world, and we all have to abide by the same laws, although some of them aren't enforced as strictly upon some people, but you still have that. And, like I said, it's the game of basketball. It's something that's always been prevalent in the game of basketball. So I don't know if you'll ever get rid of it, but, these are big headlines and they're not taking them lightly anymore.
I agree. And what about you, Matt? Like, what do you think here's what I propose to on this too. And tell me if you agree on this too, Matt. I think there should be some form of training before, during, and after you get drafted. Because, think about this as an example. There are some kids who, and I call them kids, they're 18, 19 years old, and they're coming into this exuberant amount of money. They don't have the education behind money. They don't teach money smart at all in school. When I was in school, you did get some, but nowhere near like they should. But what do you think needs to be done, Matt? Do you think there needs to be more education about, the fact that if you gamble comes great, I hate to borrow this stupid quote from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Like, what do you think, Matt? What do you think needs to be done in order to cool down a lot of this stupid betting from major players?
I don't think it'll ever cool down. I think players have been doing this for years. They're just not getting caught because it's more out in the open now. When it comes to the legal sports gambling and things like that in sports, man, I mean, the reason why these players do it is like Shane said, man, you can never have enough money. Even though these NBA players have guaranteed contracts, they still are supporting families. I mean, and we're talking like a lot of these NBA players are supporting their entire families, like aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever.
Moms, dads, everything.
So more money is more money, man, for them. Regardless, and it's crazy about Malik Beasley. They actually highlighted the videos that he was going extra hard on, where he got over his player props, and he would do it a lot at the end of games when the game is over with like 5 seconds left. He'll speed down a court and get a layup so he can get the over under on his 20-point games. I mean, and guys, I mean, it's just what I'm pretty sure a lot of athletes are doing it too. It's very simple. You just get somebody else to bet the over under on you. You control the narrative. They cash out and they just give you the cash, simple. I mean, so I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of these athletes are doing. I don't think we're going to stop it. I don't think it's going to stop. They got all these betting apps coming out. They promote these betting apps.
That's all you see nowadays on the TV is draft picks, DraftKings, and whatever else there is.
I mean, that's what you see. So, I mean, I don't think anything is going to happen. It's just that we'll see more and more players get caught, and then players will finally get it. And they do. Whenever players are drafted, they have a rookie symposium where they do go over financial things. They have classes for rookies where they go over financials that the rookies have to take. They go over financial things and things like that, man. It's just on the rookies if they choose to listen or not.
I agree. I think there needs to be more training. I really do. And it all starts if you honestly go back to middle school, even high school level, Matt, Shane. You have to teach kids how to understand the importance of a dollar and, understand the importance of credit. When I was around as in high school, even middle school, they told us the importance of if you borrow, you have to be able to pay back double what you borrow because that's the interest you got to pay back on top of what you borrowed. And nowadays, from everybody that I've talked to, Cassie's even said they don't teach, and she's a teacher, they don't teach these kids the importance of financial responsibilities with regards to Brandon, borrowing.
Of course they don't, man. They got to keep us with the worker bee mentality, but that's a podcast for another day.
I think so. I think there needs to be some form of more in-depth training. Ben said, this is our good friend Ben. So he actually has his own show. I think it's a good idea would be to set up a platform for players to bet that wouldn't allow them to do anything controversial. And he said, and I'm good just getting my next sports fix. That's our good friend Ben. But, Matt, Shane, let's just say they do introduce a better mandate. Do you think players are going to utilize it, or do you think they're just going to, no?
A simple mandate to put on it would be no betting on your own sport. That'd be a simple mandate that you could put on it. But we know how that goes, and just like Matt alluded to just a second ago, if you want to find a way around it, they're going to find a way around it.
Yep.
And they're going to keep doing it until they get caught. We're sitting here saying it's not going to stop. The culture is there, and the only way to stop it is to hand out these harsh penalties that they're handing out now. And people got to know that with AI and everything else like that now, you're not going to get away with, not even 10% of what you used to.
I agree. Ben, it's good to see you, man. We're talking about, Malik Beasley has been indicted on federal betting charges. And, I've asked Matt, I've asked Shane, what are your thoughts on this? And What do you think should be done to try and curve at least, I would say even 5%, which is better than nothing, but 5% of reductions in the amount of gambling? Because these NBA players, they're thrown into oodles upon oodles of dollars in a matter of moments. And, they don't teach these kids the fiscal responsibilities of money. They don't teach you. It's, oh, well, you get $10 million. They're thinking you're getting that whole $10 million. And then you got to realize you got to pay federal, state tax. And if you go to multiple states, you have to pay those state taxes as well. Your Uncle Sam is going to get their piece no matter what. But what do you think needs to be done to try and curve some of this stupid gambling problems? I mean, we know about the college situation with Brandon Sorensby, but what do you think needs to be done?
Well, I think it begins at the top, and what I mean by that is I think it begins with, I think there needs to be, how they're like there's an NFLPA, there's a Players Association. Maybe there needs to be some type of educational thing, some kind of educational seminar, so to speak, that's hosted every single year, at least once a year, that kind of just teaches about the dangers of gambling. I think that's definitely something that would help. It would definitely, because kind of alluding to your point, a lot of these kids are not taught at a young age the dangers of gambling and beyond the mental, psychological effects it can have on you. Obviously, it can hurt your bank account. And I know these NFL pro athletes, they think they have all the money in the world, but we've seen so many times where a pro athlete has run out of money just like that. So I think there needs to be an educational seminar, at least once a year, maybe even once a month. It kind of just talks about the dangers of it and how to manage money just better in general, not even just as it relates to gambling. But if a lot of these pro athletes were taught how to manage their funds a little bit more smart, I don't think this issue would be as widespread as it is now.
Well, and there's a lot of people that they say, well, they have this mind frame. Mom and dad put me through all of these things, so therefore I have to. And Matt even said this too, that some of these young kids think I have to pay for everything my mom and dad do. So that means they live vicariously through their child's dream. And there's actually somebody in my neighborhood who is trying to live vicariously through their 7-year-old son, thinking that he's the greatest baseball player since Mickey Mantle. But again, he's only 7, so it takes time on that.
Stop with the call outs, Brandon. We're not going to do that.
No, it's literally one of my neighbors. They've actually come to our house.
Hey, he probably watches the show. Stop.
No, he doesn't watch the show. He doesn't. But so like when I was in high school, Ben, and I'm pretty sure you had some form of this. I know Matt did too. Shane, I'm pretty sure you did too. We were taught in some form how to manage credit correctly, how much what you theoretically what you're supposed to have build up on savings, which is 2/3 of your entire yearly salary is what they say. Although that's changed significantly as time has gone by. They're saying you need to have 2/3 of your salary in savings every year because of whatever possibility could happen. Everything. Example. I went through a life-altering event with my widowmaker heart attack, and our savings was depleted rapidly because I wasn't working. And Cassie, we had to rely on other people to unfortunately pay. So, I agree though. I agree what you said though, Ben. I think there needs to be some form of an educational seminar. I like the whole thing, having it once a month even. I think it needs to be brought to light in the attention in high school. I really do. Because these kids are getting younger and younger for professional athletes. I mean, heck, you have like LeBron James, an example. I hate to use this to him, but he came into the league at what, Matt? It was 17, wasn't it, Matt?
It was 18. He was 18.
So still 18 years old, you're thrusted into millions upon millions of dollars, and you've never had this education of how to use it wisely. Of course, they're going to say, oh, well, my bank account says I have $85 million in there. I can go spend this, but then you have to realize, oh, wait a second, that was not including the fact that I got to pay state, FICA, then I got to pay this and this and this and this and this. Oh, and did you mention the fact that you went to 7 different states and you played professionally? You got to pay those states too. Everybody's going to pay their state, that ESPN did it. We even did an episode a long time ago about this too, about ESPN's 30 for 30 broke, where it's now officially 87% of all professional athletes go broke within the first 5 years of their professional lives. That is an alarming stat. But something needs to be done. It really does need to be done to curb the severity of this. I mean, we had this big hoopla about Brandon Sorsby and how he was supposedly going to sue everybody imaginable to let him play no matter what. And he finally back and said, no, I'm not going to sue the NFL. Although he wants to, he's not going to. And he's just going to get prepared for the 2027 draft, which he is draft eligible. So we'll see.
Because he doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, he has nothing. He has nothing. He really has nothing.
He screwed himself with that one.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. All right, let's go to our next segment. It's the sports story segment. Now, reminder, we are coming to an end soon with this segment. On our new segment, we'll debate soon. Matt is actually finishing up with the intro for the new segment and for our guest who actually won this new topic. So, Shane, give us your sports story, please.
My sports story is titled Buffalo Decides the OJ is Not Worth the Squeeze. An announcement came out of Buffalo Bills camp, I believe it was Saturday, that they will not be honoring OJ in their Ring of Honor type family area that they have. And me in my research and all, it's pretty fitting that story came out, and I decided to do my story on it because on this day today in 1994, pretrial hearings started in the O.J. Simpson murder trial case. So it's pretty. It was just meant for me to tell this story, I guess, this evening. But with the Bills moving to new Highmark Stadium, at the old Highmark Stadium, the Bills had a Wall of Honor, which OJ had been put on there in 1980, and his name remained on there until they tore it down this past year. Albeit to a bunch of public outcry and conflict and stuff like that. His name remained up there, but the decision came out for the Bills that they're not going to honor him in the family area that they're going to have at New Highmark Stadium. It's going to be a family area, from what they say, that's meant to kind of serve year round. And be that kind of family kind of go to, hey, we want to tour the stadium. This is the one place we get to see, kind of deal. So the Bills decided not to do that. Of course, they have, the past few years, they've kind of distanced themselves from them. Even in 2024, they didn't put out a statement or anything after his death. That was kind of one of the organizational decisions that they made, just like they did here. It's one thing that they made as an organization. He is still in the Hall of Fame, and the first running back to ever get to that 2,000-yard mark. So that definitely doesn't put a damper on his career. It's just a decision that was made by the organization. And with today's date being what it is, just a little story I decided to highlight.
And this also tells you, keep your nose clean. Don't do stupid stuff. That's why Matt always likes to say, don't get flagged in the game of life, because it's going to come back and get you no matter what. Matt, do you have a sports story you'd like to share with everybody?
Oh my gosh, absolutely, man, absolutely, guys. I'm gonna kind of touch on this topic of NBA free agency right now. I'm afraid not only free agency, but also the NBA offseason. Pretty much, guys. I mean, it's simple. There was ever any doubt that the NBA offseason had become a year-round spectacle? This week erased it pretty much. Pretty much, man. I mean, front offices, across the league, they've been playing chess while everybody else has been playing checkers. The biggest headline so far, I would think, would be the the news that the King released today.
Oh,
the biggest headline.
He's not the King.
Biggest headline had to have been the Portland Trailblazers and taking a massive swing by acquiring Ja Morant. Pretty much signaling that they're done rebuilding and they're ready to compete right now. Miami continues to go all in after landing Giannis. Completely reshaping the balance of power in the Eastern Conference. They just picked up Tim Hardaway Jr., I believe, and they're adding pieces. They're adding pieces around them now. So
remember when he played for the Atlanta Hawks?
So they're building that team up right now. Toronto shocked everybody by bringing Kawhi
yes,
back north.
That was a crazy. I was like, why didn't Matt mention that first? That's a crazy trade.
Yeah, man. They pretty much, but look what they gave up. They gave up Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, and a couple of first-round draft picks for Kawhi. So Kawhi's locked. I think he has a few years left on his deal. He's locked in, and
at least,
honestly, Kawhi is one of those guys that can go to Toronto and never have to pay for anything again in his life already. So he'll be fine up there, man. Let's go over to the Lakes real quick, man. You see Minnesota double down on his championship window by pairing Anthony Edwards with LaMelo Ball. Created one of the league's most exciting backcourts. And then, we got the biggest storyline of all, like I mentioned before. LeBron announcing he's leaving the Lakers, And what people don't realize is just the day before, the Lakers signed Bronny James. So they guaranteed.
His contract became guaranteed.
Yeah, it became guaranteed.
They didn't re-sign anything. He just
I didn't say that. I said they signed him. The contract is guaranteed, fully guaranteed. And then no less than 24 hours later, before the ink even dries, LeBron says he's going to a different team. So. I fully expect to see LeBron, like I said, pair up with the chef, and we see how that goes. But I mean, and
still LeBron's favorite picture.
But by LeBron doing that, he said, pretty much every contender into a frenzy, because LeBron also put it out there through his team that money is not the object. He does not care. About money. He's going to make this decision based on his happiness. So that tells us he's going to a contender. Hey, we might see him in a Knicks uniform. We might see him in a Spurs uniform. You never know.
Did you see that someone, I don't know who this ATL person is, they randomly said, could you imagine seeing LeBron James in the Hawks? I said, don't you ever put him in a Hawks uniform.
That's not going to happen. The Hawks
I would disown the Atlanta Hawks.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. No, I would not. No, I would not.
Yes,
you know how I feel about LeBron James.
Brandon to be at the game with his number 23 jersey.
That's you, Matt. Matt be like, look at my Bronny James. Bring Bronny James Jr. Here's what he's
Brandon to be like, James.
Oh my God, no.
Oh man, man. Look, guys, the message from across the NBA teams are clear, man. It's crystal clear. Standing still is no longer an option. Think about it, guys. There's been 8 different NBA champions in the last 8 seasons. So every franchise believes it's just one bold move away from the Larry O'Brien trophy, and this offseason just proves that no superstar franchise, no championship window is safe. So we're going to see what happens. The big P chess move, honestly, is going to be where LeBron lands, because he's going to land with a contender. The question is pretty much who.
And whatever if you were to go to like the Washington Wizards,
it doesn't matter. He's still giving you 25, 7, and 7 at 41, 42 years old. He's still giving you 25, 7, and 7, shooting good percentages from the field. So, whatever team he goes to is going to be a contender. So it's just going to be interesting to see where all this.
You know why I say that though, Matt?
Goes to.
Because everybody, we already know who the GOAT is. It's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan goes to the Wizards. The Wizards became an instant competitor. Until the final week. The final week of his.
The Wizards sucked.
They were good actually until the final week, and then they missed out on the playoffs.
Hey, look, man, Michael Jordan was too busy yelling at Kwame Brown.
But could you imagine seeing LeBron kind of follow in that same steps? And the Wizards, what would be even better is if the Wizards were to go back to that uniform they had when Michael Jordan played. Well, horrible teal.
The Wizards have too many. First of all, the Wizards paid Trae Young like he was LeBron James. So they don't.
You got street clothes sitting right next to you too.
Yeah, well, they're not gonna do something unless it's some kind of crazy thing, like what Miami did. Unless it's some crazy thing where it's gonna be they can't trade Trae Young because he just signed. So they keep AD and Trae Young, and then LeBron joins them. What they do is sign and trade all those assets away, young kids away, and then have the Wizards have a new big three. I can see something like that. And then hey, Draymond didn't opt out of his contract for a reason, guys, for no reason. And
writing is on the wall.
Him and LeBron, I think they got the same agent. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it, but I know they're in a lot of business together. So with Draymond and LeBron, so it'll be interesting. They're really good friends. I think LeBron was a groomsman at his wedding or something like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, guys.
And they just signed Kristaps.
Porzingis, they brought him back.
Yeah. So if you see me keep looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the free agency ticker in the NBA, man. I'm trying to see what's going on, man. So.
Ben, share us your sports story.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to switch up gears, especially after Matt stole my honorable mention again. I'm going to switch over to a man by the name of Demario Davis, or as some people would say, Demario. He is, as a lot of y'all know, he might be the oldest active NFL player. He's up there. He's definitely, I'd say he's probably definitely the oldest active NFL linebacker. I believe he's 36, 37. I was reading a story on him earlier today, and I thought, man, this is really interesting. This is going to be my sports story today. So supposedly he pays $500,000 to $1 million a year, which, I mean, for an NFL player, especially an NFL player of his stature, is it's like paying $50 for a normal person. But I digress. At 27 years old, he thought about retiring. He said, my body is killing me. It's just I can't take it anymore. Not even 30 yet. So at 27, he had kind of a soul searching time. He kind of had to come to Jesus meet, and he realized, all right, I got to change some things up. I got to change up how I eat. I got to change up how I train. I got to change up how I get my body recovered. So he goes to see specialists in Arizona and Texas, California, all over the country, just so he can treat his body right. I hate, it kind of reminds me of LeBron James in terms of how disciplined he is with his body. Demario Davis, ladies and gentlemen, is a freak of nature, quite literally. And, I know of one certain player who shall not be named, who plays for the New Orleans Pelicans, who might be able to take some notes from him, in terms of eating better, in terms of training better, but I won't go there. A certain player who I love, by the way, is a Dookie, but we won't go there today. That's another topic.
Don't blow your shoes out again either.
Demario Davis, even at his age of 36 years old, I believe it is 36. Demario Davis, he might be 37 now. He's getting up there. Yeah,
he's saying his age like he's an old man.
He's coming up on 40. But even still, ladies and gentlemen, he's probably a top 5 linebacker in the NFL still. Even at his age, he is incredible. He's an incredible linebacker, even if he does play for the JETS Jets. He probably will be a part of a team that won't win 6 games this year, but that's not indicative of how good he is. So there's definitely something we could all take some notes from, boys, is how to treat your body.
Absolutely. All right, so my story is about a founding father. Yes, George Washington. Now, you guys know we are celebrating 250 this year. It's actually America's birthday is on Saturday, and if you don't know that, you're definitely living under a rock. You need to get out of that rock now. But did you guys know that George Washington was actually an amazing athlete? This was an interesting stat. I hate when I go down these stupid rabbit holes, but he was 6'2", which he was the second tallest president ever. But he was a fantastic wrestler. Was actually the greatest horseman rider in Britain, and also in the during the American Revolutionary times. He was also known to dabble in a form of polo back then too. Now, this was actually pretty to share, but the reason why I brought, obviously, because it is the birthday coming up in America, George Washington, like I said, was the second tallest president of all time. Just for random, who do you guys think was the tallest? And I hope the heck you guys paid attention to history class. Does anybody know who the tallest president ever was?
Oh, you got to go with Abe Lincoln here, man.
I'm about to say, if you didn't know that, Matt, I was going to be really mad
You
at
got to
you.
go with Abe Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln was 6'4".
What was he, like 6'6"?
He was 6'4". But Abe Lincoln had Marfan's syndrome, which is irregularly long tendons. So if you ever look, he always was hunched and walked like gingerly. It's because his tendons hurt. So the reason why I mentioned that also, who do you guys think was the shortest president ever? And this is a real shrimp, and I mean it. I'm not just saying that just because I'm 6'5" and Ben's 6'6". I'm being dead serious. Who do you think was the shortest person, Ben? Who do you think it was?
Not who was president?
Who do you think? What do you think the shortest height was for a president? Let me rephrase that.
Shane.
I'm gonna guess 5'3".
You're close, Shane. What do you think?
I'll
Matt just called out Shane too.
I'll go with I'll go
Give him
with
my
5'7".
You're close, Matt. What is the shortest height you think was ever for a president?
5'2".
No, it's not Shane.
5'2".
Boy, you and Ben are really close. It was 5'4", and it was James Madison. James Madison was a shrimp. So I just figured to bring that. Was pretty cool on that one. Now it's time for everybody's favorite segment. It is the Yes, it is the honorable mentions. We give you 2 to 5 sports stories the mainstream media doesn't care about, but we do. My first honorable mention goes out to the UAB softball program. They are nearing the conclusion of the investigation against current head coach Taylor Smart. According to reports, especially from athletic director Mark Ingram, has said within the next few weeks, they will have a press conference to announce the conclusion of the investigation and their findings. And as everybody should know, she was placed on administrative leave on April the 24th due to using racial and homophobic slurs towards some of her best players on the team. And if you don't know what's going to happen, then you need to get a hard dose reality because she's not going to be she's going to be jobless real soon. Shane, give us your first honorable mention.
Well, my first honorable mention is going to go out to Shane Van Gisbergen. SVG won his 8th career race this weekend up in wine country at Sonoma. They're just north of San Francisco. This was just his 68th career race in the NASCAR Cup Series with his 8th win already. He passed Tony Stewart and Chase Elliott for second all-time alone in road course wins, only one behind Jeff Gordon here. And man, I can tell you, it was a pretty interesting battle there towards the end of the race. He actually was getting run down by someone. So, it's a great accomplishment for the Kiwi. And man, if he ever figures out that oval racing, definitely would be a championship contender. So congratulations, SVG, and try it Chicagoland this weekend. He's sitting up there in points. Could make a run.
I like that one. Good one. Matt, give us your first honorable mention, please.
We kind of, you guys, Brandon, I think you kind of mentioned it earlier in the show, but my honorable mention is going to go to the Washington Wizards for not being so honorable. Reports have come out that the Washington Wizards have said they're not interested in trading Anthony Davis. We know that is a bold-faced lie. If the proper, package was sent, I'm pretty sure the Washington Wizards will come up off of street clothes immediately. So, shout out to the Washington Wizards for not being so honorable.
Could you imagine having to live out of your suitcase your entire NBA career? That's kind of what Anthony Davis does.
Come on, let's not do that. He had like a good 6-7 years in New Orleans, man.
If we do that stupid 6-7 thing now. Ben, give us your first honorable mention, please.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, unless you're living under a rock, last night there was one of the most major upsets in FIFA history. Paraguay defeated Germany last night in 4-3 penalty kicks. By the way, what a tremendous game.
Yes,
it seemed like the entire, especially second half, it seemed like Germany was on Paraguay's side of the field pretty much the entire game, and Paraguay somehow, by the grace of God, held them to one point the entire game. I kept watching it. I'm like, dang, has Paraguay possessed the ball at all? I mean, it's unbelievable to me that Paraguay not only hung in as long as they did, but they beat one of the perceived favorites. Especially one of the teams that has won World Cups before. So hats off to Paraguay. I mean, this is where the saying "mess around and find out" comes into mind. Germany messed
Say
around
something
and they
else, but
found
we're not
out.
saying out. This is a G-rated
They
show.
messed around and they found out. So
Yep.
they let Paraguay hang around, and that's exactly what happens. That's how upsets happen.
Absolutely. My second and final honorable mention due to time constraints is going out to the GOAT of women's tennis. Serena Williams came back and actually had a really good showing. Her first competition for the Wimbledon since she retired in 2022. She did lose in 3, but congratulations to Serena. She'll be back tomorrow. She's actually going to be doing doubles with her sister Venus. So you're going to see the Williams sisters back together on there. Matt, give us your second and final honorable mention, please.
Yes. Reports came out that the Lions actually went ahead and released Terrion Arnold after he was arrested for his felony charges. I think he just got bond or something like that. But my shout out goes to the honorable mention goes to the Detroit Lions. Good. I think more and more sports teams should set a precedent. Let these players know and simply look. We're not gonna sit here and take this. We're not gonna sit here while you act a fool out here and kind of stand by your side. I think more teams should take it. If these players are going to make dumb decisions, then they should win the dumb prize.
That's right.
And get cut from the team, man. I think all teams need to have a clause in contracts. If these players do something dumb, do something stupid, go ahead and cut them. Let them go hit the free agent market. So shout out to the Lions, baby. Shout out to the Lions, man, for cutting the Pro Bowl cornerback, even though they need all the help they can get in that.
You're not invincible, no matter what.
Hey, we'll see what happens.
Shane, give us your second and final honorable mention, please.
Well, my final honorable mention is going to go out to the NBA and Adam Silver. It was announced today that the NBA Cup final, the in-season tournament that they have, is going to be held at Butler's Hinkle Fieldhouse, one of the oldest gyms in college basketball, one of the most iconic older gyms in basketball.
It's funny you said it. I was actually just reading that as we're talking. I was just reading that.
The NBA came out after this past year and said that they wanted to hold it on Story college campuses and all that. So man, great move, great pick for the NBA to go to. If you haven't seen what the stadium and the field house looks like, man, it's amazing. They got windows up in the top, and like the sun comes in on those late afternoon games. It's a pretty interesting thing to watch. Should be a good time, and I know they'll do their best to put on a great show.
I like that. Ben, give us your final honorable mention, please.
My final honorable mention is going to go to Mr. Junior Caminero for hitting 8 home runs in 7 games. This is a guy who obviously just accepted an invite to the home run derby. It's easy to see why he's getting invited to that. It's not every day that you see a guy hit 8 home runs in 7 games. If only he was playing for the Atlanta Braves right now, we might actually.
Who can't seem to buy a run?
I don't know what happened to us, man. I mean,
and we're down 5-1 right now.
This happens. Oh, I know. This happens every year where we start up and then we just come nosediving down. It's every single season, and I called it too. If y'all remember, a few weeks back, I said, "You watch, we'll end up falling back to earth." That's exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, Junior Caminero, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best young players in this game. I hate to say it prematurely, but if he stays healthy, I don't see why he can't be a Hall of Famer. I mean, this is what, his second, third year in the league. He's killing it. Great ball player, man. Great ball player for the Tampa Bay Rays. And by the way, speaking of the Tampa Bay Rays, Tampa Bay might be one of the more dark horses of this year to win the World Series. Just watch.
Matt, you better timestamp that.
Ben, I'm surprised you didn't go with Kager, Knuppel. And the silent and
Oh, we already knew. Yeah, that could have gone.
Hey, real quick, want to let everybody know, stop sending death threats to Alyssa Thomas for her incident that she had with Caitlin Clark. It is a game after all. I understand you're passionate about Caitlin Clark. My daughter loves Caitlin Clark, but don't threaten somebody just because. It's stupid. What a great show this was. Hard to believe, y'all. Matt, I can officially say it. We've done 241 episodes because we're coming to the end of this episode. So it's so cool that we are actually about to celebrate this milestone on Friday, episode 242. As I said, it's this Friday, July the 3rd, the best guest of the Sportz Nutz. We will have a long list of former guests. It's actually Shane's idea to do this. We're not going to be able to get all our guests. We have like 290 guests total. We're not going to be able to get all of them in one, so we'll do multiples of these. But the first one starts on Friday. Episode 243 will be Tuesday, July the 7th. Tony Philly, the PA announcer for the Memphis Redbirds, the AAA affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals. About South Carolina Rangers, whatever those are. 2:45 will be Friday, July the 10th. We actually have confirmed Tony Gladstone will be back. Remember, Tony had a little bit of a health scare happen with his family, but he'll be back with us on Friday, July the 10th. And then this one is really exciting. Episode 246 will be Tuesday, July 14th. This one is really neat because the story was aired on ESPN about 22 years ago or so. You guys may remember this. Jason/J-Mac McElwain, who is autistic. He's a high-functioning autistic basketball player. His story is something that actually make you get a little emotional about. So really excited to have him come on and talk to us. So really excited about Jason. But as you guys also did see, we did issue the press release for our entire team. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Yes, Matt did do an error on the pictures. Both me and Ben look a lot alike. And of course, I was excited to release it after he said, hold on, after the fact. But yep, our website has changed as you guys come back. And as you guys said, I mentioned to you before, this is the new network name. So with that being said, for everybody who tuned in tonight on the show, also listen live on 95.5 KFCE, TigerNation.live, and everywhere else around the country and the world. Thank you guys so much. We're not done yet. Let's try to get to 15,000 subscribers before Thanksgiving. And I would even dare say 20,000 by New Year's Eve. Ben, it's that time. Give everybody your quick final goodbyes, please, sir.
Well, everybody stay safe out there. Stay cool. Most of the United States is under a heat wave right now, which not even comparable to what's going on in Europe. So we really have no room to complain. We'll just keep on praising God that most of us have air conditioning. But regardless, stay cool. Get in the pool, get in the lake, get in the beach. Do whatever you got to do. Don't forget your sunscreen. And everybody stay safe and stay blessed. God bless.
Matt, give us your quick final goodbye.
Absolutely, guys. Just we're in the middle of the week here. Going to be in the middle of the week. So just keep your heads on straight. Continue to do what you do. Don't get flagged in the game of life.
Absolutely. And Shane, give your final goodbyes, please.
Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in, liking, following, subscribing, all that good stuff on all the socials. As always, may the good Lord bless you. Peace, love, and bacon grease.
And as I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town down White's the greatest sports city there ever was. Hey, reminder, tomorrow, John from the Pitch Grid and I are teaming up with each other to bring you the greatest coverage on our World Cup Weekly series. We will be live tomorrow at 5:30. Tune in to that one. It's only going to be for 60 minutes. Tune in. Maybe our guy Cole joins us. Until then, you guys have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you on Friday. Until then, enjoy this great outro, and as always, goodbye.